friends. I'm just reading a New York Times report in the Economic Times, which says that big tech firms are racing to embed AI tools in schools. Apparently, tech leaders say that AI tools can save teachers time, customize student learning, and help prepare young people for an AI driven economy. Scary to me personally that education will now be deeply influenced by AI, and tech companies are racing not out of any great interest in human development but out of commercial interests. I've been reading this book, The Anxious Generation, and the fundamental premise of this author is that children who were born after the invention of smartphones have experienced a fundamentally altered childhood, and at the heart of that childhood is anxiety. I talk to my friends in consulting companies or in any organization where they are dealing with young employees who traditionally did a lot of analytical, thinking oriented, heavy lifting work. And they all lament about the fact that the moment you assign a task which involves thinking, the young employees are immediately turning to one of the many AI tools and produce an output which obviously looks almost universally templatized. And then on the other hand, I read reports in media that large consulting companies have their own AI platforms and are now mandating that employees use it in the interest of speed. And perhaps they are laying off a lot of analysts who did this kind of analytical work. I think thinkers across the globe have a responsibility to shape the narrative of how AI will be used with responsibility. It's unfortunate that any radical disruptive technology is often driven and the narrative shaped entirely by commercial interests, be it social media platforms, be it AI, be it the use of phone, be it the internet, be it smart boards. It's all shaped by people with commercial interests, not with people who are thinking about the long-term implications of any of these things. And then, why am I talking about it? As a coaching and leader development company, one of the most common asks from us is to help emerging leaders to demonstrate more of their intellectual capacities, to be strategic, to be innovative, to connect the dots and synthesize, to solve problems at the fundamental level and not at the symptomatic level, to envision a future, to think about global developments and how they will impact them, to be discerning, to apply good judgment, and so on and so forth. And if we are going to bring up an entire generation of children and adolescents and youngsters who are by default relying on artificial intelligence to tell them and shape their thinking rather than apply their own mind, our jobs as coaches perhaps will either become even more difficult, or perhaps we will enter a world where AI will do strategic thinking. It's a very scary situation.